I really want to talk about black business. And I feel like sometimes when it comes to black business, I feel like we are so harsh and harder on black businesses than we are on other businesses. And I think it's really important that we understand, business. I'll give you this story. So when I started, I was on social media doing offering one-to-ones for clients and so forth. And my good friend, Debadan, who has Stock Pickers Academy, Deb's had his own group where he was teaching them how to buy stocks and so forth. And he wasn't charging. Some of his people that were in his group went on my website and saw that I was charging for certain things that Deb was giving for free. And because of that, they tried to cuss me to Debs. Now, this is one thing I always rate Debs, and this is why me and Debs are close till today, is that he, rather than just listen to these man cuss man, he said, listen, let me reach out to this brother. I don't know him, let me reach out to him. So he reached out to me through social media. We had a telephone call. We was on that phone for like an hour and a half. This is the first time I ever spoke to him ever in life. We was on that phone call for an hour and a half, and we were talking, and basically he was saying like, yeah, some of my group like saw your prices, they were cussing. I told him my story, what I've done, how I've built up, and he realized actually the problem is that because he was doing it for free, they put little to no value on what they were getting. So when they saw me charging something, they felt like, wow, I'm used to getting this for free, so now you're too expensive. But the reality is that I've had years, like at that time, well over 10 years of experience being a financial advisor, qualified, regulated, done it for the banks, and now I'm doing it for the community. So it was one of those things where actually sometimes the way he looked at himself and said, right, you know what? I'm glad I had this conversation with you because you're not the problem. I'm part of the problem because I'm doing this too low and people don't value it. That's why they feel like it should be little or no price. Do you know what I mean? And so the reason I say that is that like we saw recently the girl come up that she's charging £1,000 to do braids. Listen, I'm not gonna lie like I'm an expert in this field. This is not my thing. Do you know what I mean? But my wife was telling me that typically you'd expect to pay around £80 to £100 for braids. Now, and that would typically last around 4 to 5 hours. I think the girls was like 12 hours for £1,000. I think it was something like £700 or £600 for like 4 to 5 hours, whatever it may be. So it made me think that, listen, the uproar was crazy. People were going mad. People were upset, and people were like, this is outrageous and so forth. But I had a few thoughts on it. Number one, sometimes you have to understand that someone puts a price there. Just because you do it doesn't mean that you're the target audience. So just because you braid your hair doesn't mean that because I offer a braiding service, I'm targeting you. Sometimes people put a price there for exclusivity. Sometimes they put a price there to get a certain level of client, or a client that has a certain stature or is happy to pay that type of money for the convenience. People are going mad. Micah Richards paying £200 per haircut. If his day rate to film is 10k or 20k, he gets paid every time he films. £200 to make sure you feel as confident and deliver your job as best as you can when you're making 20,000. It's all relative, right? So for me, it's really important for us to understand that sometimes we belittle our thing. It has to be our services and our products must be the cheapest. We must offer the best value. We must have the best service, but we must do it at the lowest price. And actually, you've got to position yourself and know what market you're positioning it for. If you're doing mass market, you're going to have mass prices. Do you know what I mean? And your prices have to suit the audience that you're looking at. But one thing, when I saw this girl, I thought, you know what? Maybe she's looking at people that maybe want to pay for convenience. Maybe she goes to their house. Maybe she does it in a space where they feel most comfortable. And so people are paying for the privilege and paying for that time. Maybe she's really, really good at how she does it. Maybe she does it at a level that's better than the average. And therefore people are willing to pay for that. And maybe also, look, again, like I said, if we make the numbers simple, if it's £100 that people normally charge, and she's charging 1,000, so the person that's paying 100 needs to get 10. She only needs to get one that pays 1,000. So think about that. So she might have a strategy where she says, well, I'm just going to do one client a week and aim for 4 clients in a month and make £4,000. And the person that charges 100 has to see 40 people, but still spend the same 4, 5, however many hours doing the same thing. So sometimes it's actually about who am I targeting. Forms, you do hair. What's your thoughts like? Did you think it was too much? Did you think it was?
I think it's insane, personally.
Insane?
Yeah.
Wow. Talk to me.
I used to do braids.
Yeah.
It used to cost, how much did it cost? £80.
Mm-hmm.
That was expensive back then. And now people are charging like £80 plus for what I used to do. So
Yeah.
I think it's unreasonable, but as you said, like, I'm clearly not a target audience.
Yeah.
I'll just look at the post, smile, and move on.
But do you feel like we should offer more luxury products? I feel like sometimes it's because we've got this. I'm from the hood. We're from the ghetto. We're from poverty. So all our products should be cheaper. Like if she's offering a luxury service, for example, if we're in the Middle East, a lot of the charges are a lot, but the service is high. Like so, do you feel like is it something with our community where we just feel like our products and our services should always be low end and cheap, and that's something that we need to deal with, as opposed to us looking at her saying that actually I want to offer a high end, high value brand, like high service, high touch, which means that from the moment you get in contact, there's somebody on the phone. You have to pay for that. A good website, good branding, the best products, like the best hair. Like if she wants to offer this high end, the best service, do you feel like actually it's us that have the problem because we're so used to having that kind of have the auntie that's doing about 5 people's hair all at the same time?
I think it's a mixture of both. I do think that in the black community, we do always want things cheap. We always want discounts. Even if like we have a family member, we have a friend that has a business, we're quick to ask for discounts.
Discount, yeah.
At the same time, for me, when it comes to braids, just charging that amount doesn't sound reasonable because it's not going to last. Like if you compare it to a wig you can pay like what, £300. That will last you for like a good 3-4 years.
Yeah.
But paying £1,000 to braids that will last minimum a month and it will look nice. After that, it's going to get messy. I can't really weigh up the cost, but that's just me personally. So that's what I think.
I hear you. What do you think? Okay, maybe not braids, but like haircuts or do you know what I mean? Like we see barbers that charge, £100 a haircut, like £100, £150. Some like especially if you're cutting footballers and whatever and so forth. And the reason they're charging that is that the footballer can come in at any time. And they don't have to queue, they don't have to wait. They can book their service and so forth. And also, there's the lost time if they have to travel to where the footballer is. They can't be cutting other people while they're away from their shop or whatever. So, like, what's your thoughts?
In terms of like haircuts, I'll probably be paid £35 to £40.
Yeah, of course.
So, but you know what it is? It was one like the person was providing a luxury service. I was there, appointment, pattern. Like everything was just calm, and I think like now I go back to my local guy, and it's just like it's just not like that. It's just it's not luxury. You get me?
Yeah.
But I've got no issue with like premium prices for things as long as it's a premium service.
Yeah.
As long as it's convenient for the client. As long as like I feel like I'm getting a proper job. If you're talking haircut, I feel like the lineup is proper.
Yeah.
Like, everything is proper. It's a luxury service you're providing, and so I've got no issue with that, man.
I feel like time is money, right? I feel like we're at a point in life where time is money. So there are a lot of people who are really willing to pay more because it's more convenient, because it's the right time, and also service. Like sometimes you go there, you finish, you're like, it's not what I want, but I'll just ride it till. Do you know what I mean? And it's like if you know you can go somewhere, you know the quality, you know what they're doing. Like we said, maybe you're not their target audience, so it's fine. Like let them target who. Like we should be encouraging someone to say, look, go take that money, because people go to hairdressers like for a blow dry and a haircut and whatever. Like they're paying crazy, but because it's a designer hairdresser or branded like a hairdresser that's been on certain TV shows or they do the hair of certain celebrities.
Exactly.
But the people are ready to pay. No one blinks an eyelid. Do you know what I mean? It's the same way, 2 jackets are pretty much the same material, but one's got one brand and one's got no brand, and now all of a sudden the price are different. Like some of these things are made in the same factory, but literally one has one logo, one doesn't have a logo, and because of that, the prices are crazy, and we're happy for that. So I just feel like sometimes, especially when it comes to business, that we have to be careful when we are putting down somebody's hard work, especially online, because now that's negative press. Do you know what I mean? So now, even if somebody was thinking, actually, somebody that didn't have a problem with paying that amount,
They might look at you now and say the business is not worth that money.
it's not worth it. You've now tore down a black business that actually people were fine and happy to go to, but because they've seen so much outroar online, they now feel stupid to pay that amount where they were comfortable before. And so we have to understand these are how people are feeding their family, how they're looking after. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So look at the cost of living crisis now. Let's be honest. When I'm seeing a lot of these things, so supermarkets are taking liberties.
Taking
taking liberties. There are certain things that are going up. It doesn't need to be that much. You're taking advantage of the fact everything's gone up, so everything's gone up. You're just charging more for everything, and you don't need to charge more. So you're actually taking advantage of the situation to say that, oh, inflation. Oh, we would have put the prices up, but inflation. And they're doing it. And what we do, we're not writing, we're not online cussing. We're accepting it. We're accepting it.
We're used to it. We're used to these established organisations putting the price up. Whereas when it's our own doing something, maybe we feel so close to home to these people, they shouldn't be putting the
Exactly.
price up.
How dare you? And it's that actually, if somebody wants to offer a luxury service or have a luxury, we should have the mindset to say, actually, I see what you're doing. If it's not for me, it's not for me. These are people commenting, you've never experienced the service, you haven't used the brand, all you saw is a picture online, and now you've cussed the whole company. Like, actually, we have to look at ourselves and say, what are we doing? Why are we so quick to tear ourselves down? Like, you haven't used the service just based on the price, but you don't know how she treats her clients, how she makes the clients feel, how they feel about it. Do you know what I mean? And if at the end of the day she puts the price there and then nobody uses it, guess what? She'll bring her price down. If it's not working, she'll run some discounts. That's what companies do, right?